Hello people, welcome to the last week of your life without Tears of the Kingdom in it. Hello again, I am Blunty, although some call me Lonk from Pennsylvania, which if you're feeling spry this morning, stop it. You're not spry, you're old, because that is a 10-year-old meme already and it still makes me laugh. In fact, I quoted the damn thing in my live stream yesterday while dipping back into Breath of the Wild, now that we are indeed mere days away from what is, without doubt, without argument, without debate, one of the most anticipated games of the year, and considering Breath of the Wild was the first time Nintendo ever won a Game of the Year award, probably a fair contender for that too. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, it's coming. And Chad and I spent almost all of that stream time going, hey, I wonder if this will be in Tears, or wouldn't it be great if they changed this about this thing, or man, I hope this annoying bastard of a mechanic is gone for good and they just replace it with something way better, or wouldn't it be interesting if they did this instead? We were, of course, not alone in these musings, hopes, prayers, and wishes. So here are 20 very commonly representative examples I found in a 10-day-old, thousands of responses long Reddit thread on these very issues and thoughts and contemplations. What are the things from Breath of the Wild that you do not want to see again in Tears of the Kingdom? Or indeed, you do want to see again, but, better. I'm going to start with a bonus one of my own before we start the countdown on the stuff I've plucked from the thread, because this came up constantly in my revisit of the game yesterday, and still on my mind this morning, and it's also something we already know for a fact has been fixed, so I'm very excited about it. Inventory swapping. Probably the most constant annoyance in my original playthrough all those 6 years back, and indeed, yesterday still. It's damn near every time you crack open a chest with a sword, or a spear, or a shield, or a bow in it, and you'd get told, well, you can't have that, your inventory's full. Because it would be full, because you are constantly picking up new weapons to replace the broken ones that break constantly. So you'd have to back out of the chest, open your inventory, select your worst weapon, punch a button, select drop, and then punch another button, and then back out of the inventory, and then open the chest again, animation and all, and then collect your reward. It was infuriating. In Tears of the Kingdom, when your inventory is full and you go to pick up another item, it'll just ask you right away, hey, your inventory's full, would you like to make room for it immediately? That is so much better. What a massive improvement. What a game-changing improvement that is. What a flow improvement that is. If they changed nothing else about the mechanics, I'd still be endlessly grateful for this one thing alone. And that really says something about how annoying it was in the original game, doesn't it? How about no more climbing gear that can't handle the moist? One of my big disappointments in the original game was working towards obtaining and then fully upgrading the climbing gear set, and then finding out it still can't handle climbing on even light drizzle days. It's so annoying to have the game stymie my quest for exploration like that when the game is designed to encourage exploration. How about instead you let me work towards tools that fully enhance my ability to explore, the way you want me to explore this game, and not just make it slightly faster. Just make climbing gear more sticky. How about not worrying about wet surfaces with the climbing gear? How about that? Once you fully upgrade it. How about that? How about the lack of post-game content? I would love to be able to explore the game while the final boss is actually defeated. So yeah, I'm with this guy. Having the game reset your whole situation, the entire world, back to a pre-Calamity Ganon defeat situation, infected enemies and all, after you spent 2 separate boss fights clearing his influence from Hyrule once and for all. It felt kind of crappy to have that actually noped on you. I wanted a cleaner, purer Hyrule to explore after that final victory I earned. I wanted to see what it was like without Ganon's influence rotting away at all the corners. And I didn't get that. A recipe book. This is one of those things we know is actually changing. We are getting a recipe book. I don't know how it actually functions specifically yet, but we are indeed getting a recipe book in the new game. I loved the cooking system in Breath of the Wild, but yeah, having a way to quickly select and save favorite mixes of ingredients or use preset recipes to save time scrolling through your inventory and selecting each individual ingredient one by one and holding them and then throwing them into the pot. Anything that makes this system a lot less tedious is okay by me, and a recipe book sounds like a great idea. The Yiga. Oh, yeah. There comes a point in this game where it really starts feeling hard to even walk a dozen meters without yet another ambush by a Yiga clan drone bursting into existence, teleporting in your way, and attacking you when you're just trying to get somewhere. You're just trying to do something. You're just trying to collect some mushrooms. I don't know. It's especially annoying once you figure out how easy the fight is to cheese, with status, for example. So it just becomes very tiresome. It's not exciting to be ambushed this way. It's not interesting. It's not fun. It's just tedious and annoying and interruptive of your exploration and your adventure. I don't like it. Get rid of it. Not being able to put on a full suit with like 2 button presses. Absolutely 100% agree with this. Being able to save armor loadouts, or just being able to equip a full matching set by selecting one piece and using an option to say, hey, equip the full set that belongs to this one piece. It will be a big quality of life improvement, because switching from, the climbing gear or the swimming gear when you're trying to traverse somewhere, and then having to switch to a combat set like the barbarian or the stealth set or whatever, it was always so clumsy, having to select and equip them one by one, scrolling through the inventory, doing the headpiece and the chest piece and the feet piece, and just being able to do this in a cleaner, faster, more efficient way is very high on my want list for Tears of the Kingdom. On that note, being able to fully upgrade a set piece, or indeed a whole set all at once in one go, instead of having to do it item by item, level by level, complete with a long-ass animation and menu cancel after every single upgrade stage, please. I mean, the very lewd fairies and their horny noises are pretty funny, sure, but if you're trying to upgrade a bunch of stuff in a row, this takes way too long and gets way too annoying way too quickly. Just let us do the whole thing all at once, please. No more motion-controlled shrine gimmicks. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's all you need to say, don't you? They're clumsy, they're awkward, they're really terrible at handheld mode especially, and the only ones I didn't actively loathe, not just hate, but loathe doing, were like 2 of them. They were the mini-golf style things. They were kind of fun, but even they weren't very satisfying because of how floaty and sloppy the controls were. If they're going to do more motion control stuff, tighten up the controls big time. I would rather do without them completely, but if you're doing them again, just don't use the same motion control system you did before, because, oh my god, so annoying. Ragdolling for 20 effing minutes after being knocked down a slope. Yes. This was always hilarious to watch, but never fun to have happen. You know what I mean? It's just kind of annoying and tedious and, not particularly enjoyable in any way. Just having Link being able to regain his footing or slow himself down, jam the sword into the dirt and pull himself to a stop, nice and dramatically or something. Anything just to stop ragdolling down an entire mountain slope if you get hit once with a rock or something. Here's a good one. While I'm one of the people who really liked the weapon durability system, at least eventually, after a while, when I started to see how it had forced me into using weapons and techniques and strategies I might not have tried at all if I could just, stick with my 1 or 2 favorite weapons for the whole game, like many RPGs do. Just, consistently upgrade the same weapon and stick with it the whole game. This game forcing me to use all the weapons at hand at any time, and, maybe I don't even have my favorite weapon type with me at some point. There is an excitement there. There is an adventure there. There is creativity there. And that, again, is one of the core points of the game design. I like the choice they made with this. However, the downside is, as pointed out in this comment, you never actually feel like anything is yours. It doesn't belong to you, because almost everything actively functional is so temporary. While in the older games, not just older Zelda games, but other RPGs, you earn your gear sets, you upgrade them, they become your gear sets. So this is a pretty good point. I'm not sure it's worth giving up the discovery and adventure and the constant feed of variety and excitement of using whatever it is you have to hand to solve combat situations you would normally do in other ways, but it is an interesting perspective on this 6-year-old argument about whether or not the item durability and how quickly weapons break in this game is a good or bad thing. Let your arguments continue in the comment section. The inventory controls. Oh my god, almost every single game uses L and R shoulder buttons to tab through your inventory panels, don't they? But not Breath of the Wild, and I mess this up constantly. And I mean constantly. Like 90% of the time, I forget that it's on the right stick and not L and R, where it is in all the other games. Thankfully, this is one of the things that we do already have confirmed that is being changed, so woohoo! Thank the globs for a more standardized inventory tab control system interface button thingamadoos. How about this one, though? Carry the blue flame back to us. Rains for 3 days straight. Yes, this. Not just with the flame-carrying stuff, it's uncanny how often it just seems to happen to start raining at the most inconvenient moments during the flame transportation quests, or rather more commonly when you're halfway up a mountain, desperately clinging to the vertical cliff face. It almost feels like the game is programmed to deliberately frack with you in these moments. Every single time you start climbing, it feels like it starts raining immediately. It's so annoying. The game doesn't do that, but damn well feels like it. But we're going to come back to these thoughts in a minute with some other issues around that particular mechanic. How about better personal storage, though? I loved the fact you could display some personal favorite or particularly rare weapons on display mounts inside the house you could buy for yourself pretty early on in the game, or at least, depending on how your rupee situation was going. But it was also really, really limited. So a full-on trophy room or expanded display options, or simply a big old chest to keep some of this precious stuff in and just not have it clutter up your inventory, that would be awesome. How about actually being able to sit down on the many chairs and fallen logs and whatnot? Aesthetically pleasing, nice for photo mode, of course, and, maybe sitting by a campfire could slowly regen health or something. A nice little passive, immersive kind of thing. Link relaxes by a campfire, his health slowly ticks up. Or, how about not fading out when time skipping? Do an animation for that or something. Or better yet, on interactivity issues, let us pat the goddamn dogs properly. How about that? Let us pat the frickin' dogs, please. More breakable pots and houses. I mean, come on. Tradition is tradition, Nintendo. More pot houses. I will break pots on the outside of people's houses just because. I know there's nothing in them, but it's a Zelda game. You can smash the pots. Durability. Back on the durability. It really is one of the big hot buttons for Breath of the Wild. Durability needs to scale better. Agreed. 100% agreed. I, too, have saved powerful stuff, high-end weapons, afraid to use them just in case I needed it later for a tougher enemy, which kind of goes against the whole point of durability and breakable weapons in the first place. The game wants you to cycle through a whole bunch of different weapons. It doesn't want you to hoard your favorite weapons. So this needed a better balance. The really good weapons needed just, 50% more durability, 100% more durability, to double it or something, just to make them not feel so precious, to encourage you to actually use them instead of saving them just in case. Speaking of saving things just in case, how about more save slots? Yeah, it's bewildering how in order to do a new playthrough in Breath of the Wild without completely nuking, deleting forever your existing save is to jump through the hoops of creating a brand new player profile and a brand new Nintendo account on a brand new email to register it to your Switch just so you can have a different save file. It's so dumb. Just give us multiple save slots like basically every other game in existence does. What's the matter with doing that? Come on. Nintendo, you've seen how people enjoy doing challenge runs and speed runs and, special, difficulty runs and things like that. Just give us multiple save slots. Three's enough. Got one main one, two to dick around on. That's plenty. Mass cooking. Oh, hell yes. If I need to make a small pile of basic health restorative meals, just to top up your hearts in the middle of battle and whatnot, just let me do a whole bunch in a row. Let me select the ingredients and go, hey, if I've got enough ingredients, make 10 of these, or, make as many of these meals as I've got ingredients to make, without having to make each one at a time, selecting all the ingredients one at a time. There's no skill-based mini-game in the cooking here. There is no reason to make us do multiple meals so slowly, so individually, so tediously. Just let us make 10 at a time, whatever. Better inventory sorting and management. Mid-game, you are swimming in so much stuff it can be harder and harder and harder to find and select things for, like ingredients or crafting or upgrades or trades or just to drop them on the ground or, whatever it is. I was forever losing simple things like the flint, for example. I couldn't find the damn flint. I would scroll through endlessly back and forth. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I finally found it. Just let us favorite stuff. Let us have a favorite tab. Or label them with stars and other logos like we use on the maps. Or just highlight the boxes in different colors. Anything, something. Just make this better, because it's kind of terrible. And finally, top of the list, the most important change, the most vital change, the most transformative change. The golden poop. Considering the immense time and effort required for all 900 Korok seeds, and very few players have bothered to do that, let me tell you this, the reward being a completely non-functional, literal big pile of poop was not as fun as you think it was, Nintendo. That's like the reason I never bothered even trying. I was looking for more reasons to play this game, like I do with a lot of my favorite games. Like Spider-Man on the PlayStation, for example. I never bothered platinuming any games, but Spider-Man I platinumed because I was looking for more reasons to keep playing, so the trophies were a system to do that. So my main save file with Breath of the Wild is extremely complete. You know, I've done all the things. There's like a couple of side quests I haven't done, and that's about it. But it has just 230 of the 900 Korok seeds collected, and most of those that I collected after I maxed out my infantry upgrades, you know, after there was no way to spend them on anything useful anymore, I kind of found accidentally or incidentally, because I would be wandering around with the Korok mascot and, you know, just exploring, you know, tinkle, tinkle, oh, there's a Korok seed over there, might as well go grab it, see if I can find a little puzzle or something. But there was no incentive to go collect all 900 of them, like deliberately, on a quest to find them all, because the reward just isn't worth it. If the reward had been enticing, if it had been something truly special, like an upgrade for the Master Sword that stopped it running out of energy, for example, something like that, I don't know, or a shield that doesn't break, I might have spent more time engaged with this system. But the reward is just crap, literally and figuratively, so I never did. And that feels like a waste of making all that effort of all these little Korok puzzles and secrets and hiding them in special places, and then giving no real incentive to actually go looking for them. That feels like a big dumb choice, Nintendo. Big dumb choice. So, did I leave anything out? What would you like changed or left out or included? Do the down below doobly doos. Down below doobly doos. Just do it. Meanwhile, thank you for watching. I am Blunty. I will catch you next time. And thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above. Yahaha.